The number one movie on Netflix right now in terms of worldwide movies is Agent aka. When I watched the movie, I realized it was an action espionage movie made in France. France is the birthplace of the Nouvelle Vague, so there is a strong perception that they make great movies. It's called mise en scene, and they approach movies philosophically by looking for the meaning of the screen composition and scene. As a result, there is a perception that French movies are somewhat old-fashioned. In fact, there are quite a few action movies in France, including Luc Besson, and they are very famous. Perhaps one of the reasons for this is that France has had many colonies since its empire. It's a very multiracial country and there are a lot of conflicts that come with that. There are quite a few works from France that are surprisingly good at showing this phenomenon in action. In that sense, this movie also connects the past and present of France. France was a country that occupied many places in Africa, and it is still connected. If you look at the French national soccer team, there are quite a few French players of African descent. Similarly, France seems to have a lot of government agents working in Africa. If you look at movies, there are so many scenes like that. Adong Alban Lenoir is such a good agent that he saves a journalist who is being held hostage. There's a bombing in France by a terrorist from South Sudan, and they need to catch him. Very little information is known and the only link is a cousin who knows the terrorist. The problem is that he's in a criminal organization, so he's not easy to get to. Adang's first goal is to get inside the organization, gain their trust, and get information. She needs to get to Victor Eric Cantona, so she has to work to gain his trust. An opportunity arises when she has to drop off and pick up Victor's son from school. He's a bit of a bully at school, so I help him out a bit and gain his trust. The problem comes when Adong joins Victor's henchmen in a money heist. The agent who was traveling with Adong finds out and helps him, and Adang's performance is amazing. He's a good agent, but he's not prepared for the surprise attack, but that changes after he wakes up. He single-handedly defeats so many enemies that the phrase, one-man army, fits perfectly. Of course, I'm trusted, but I can't help but be suspicious. Little by little, we see his determination to catch the terrorists. In a way, the movie deliberately shows that it's not just an action espionage movie. In particular, there's a scene where the South Sudanese are shown as terrorists and are used by a high-ranking French official. With the civil war in Sudan recently becoming a global concern, I found the movie to be of particular interest. I don't know if the terrorists were actually trying to carry out an attack or if the government was just trying to distract attention. Still, there's something about this movie that I would say is very relatable. The main character, Adong, is incredibly calm and a good shot, but she can't take them all on by herself. So she gets shot at, she gets wounded, she almost dies, and she's humanized a little bit. On top of that, he barely speaks, which makes him even more of an agent. I didn't realize it while watching the movie, but Victor is played by Eric Cantona. I was surprised that Eric Cantona, the famous Manchester United soccer player, could act so well. At the beginning of the movie, I was a little distracted, but after about 30 minutes, I was hooked. In the second half of the movie, I realized that the action was quite good, and there's a reason why it's currently the #1 movie in the world.